next time on just to see how far it is. These are the stories that we should be telling. This makes me so happy. There are so many good people in the world that are doing wonderful things for communities, and you know, at the end of the day, nothing is for nothing. You can give of your time, you can give of your expertise, which is what Celia and Kath and the guys are doing. They've given land, Kath has given her time and her expertise, but the people are coming here and are working for their food. She was getting payback here. She had me set on kiddie stirrups. I was going to be going with my knees behind my ears. Last time I did that was when I was 5 year old jockey. I know my surname's Roberts, my name's not Mace. After 4 incredible days exploring in and around Arust, it was good to get back on the road again, leaving behind places that I know so well, but super excited to discover what would be uncharted territory for me. I've heard so much about Seweweekspoort, the pass. I was doing a route recce a few weeks back and wanted to do this road, and then realized it went from tar, from Lanesburg, and became this gravel road pass. So obviously not ideal for road cars, but perfect for us in the D-Max. I don't know, I mean, I could do another whole series on discovering the passes of South Africa, because it literally is another day, another pass. Jeez, it's unbelievable. From a motoring tourism perspective, I don't think you get any better than South Africa. Incredible. I know we went to the hell a while back, but this is hotter than hell. So this is where you go from hell to comfort. Hello.
How's it? Welcome to Porcupine. You must be Marius.
Joy.
I'm Joy. Yes.
Hello, Joy.
Hello.
This is a cool spot.
Come on in, get comfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, we can play some pool, drink some beer. No. Yes, you've got the right idea. fast. Go on, yeah. Check her skills. Hey, you should have played for Bafana. There's Banyana. I wonder what the dog side's called. You are precious. Check out the dribble. Are you hungry, Oscar boy? Listen, this dog lives for food and water. So they've got their little pellets. I haven't taken out any of their cooked food tonight. But what I do have, Dad's not the only one who gets to enjoy some brew. So I thought I'd, so cool. Bottom sniffer, beer for dogs. So I'm just going to dribble a bit of that. They can have some of it again in the morning. It obviously doesn't have alcohol in it. It's just cool. Yeah, boy. Happy? Yeah, Jamie boy. Come, move. Here we go. It's like Christmas. This box is gold. Dave from Sharpline Graphics, you know, he's done an amazing job with our logo, and the guy doesn't know how to stop. So he's now gone and apparently made us caps and t-shirts, which we were meant to have before we left. This box got sent to George twice. It's finally here. I am so stoked. I promise you. Dude, Dave, you're a legend, my man. What should we go with? Geez, look, he's got colours as well. Retired grey. How good is this going to look? Oh yeah. The odd thing is, it's like you hook up with people who just have energy and passion, and who see an idea and back you 100%, and go out of their way to make sure that you're trying to build a brand and trying to build a story, which is just to see how far it is. And geez, they've helped to make sure that we're noticeable wherever we go, and they've really got behind it 150%. Amazing. That's what I'm going to be wearing from now on. What do you think? Looks cool, eh? This will work. Top job. Super stoked.
Happy the Porcupine, my good man.
Push it in the bowl.
I'm going to whip your ass, Joy. You know that.
Yeah, that's what you think. I don't.
Are you a hustler?
No.
Hey?
Sadly, no. I try.
I've got to understand how an editor ends up in Seweweekspoort with a mad, cool pub in the middle of nowhere, great campsites. How did that happen?
Well, used to travel a lot, especially through Namibia, Botswana, Zambia, and places like that, and I really loved the whole vibe and everything. And I did that for 20 years, and then kept saying, you know, got to do this for ourselves. And then eventually it just got to a point where it's like, okay, got to stop talking about it and
go
actually
and
make
do
a
it.
plan and do it.
Why here?
Well, this just turned out to be a complete, I don't know, it was just fate, really.
Had you been in the area before?
Never.
So you never know.
Never. Had no idea this place
Jesus,
existed
talk
7 years ago.
about deep end.
Yeah. So a friend of ours wanted to buy a spot, and he knew that we wanted to do a campsite and everything, and then he didn't want to live here, so we came and said, just come and have a look and see if it's going to work for you. And it was perfect. It was just perfect.
Kind of feeling like I'm drinking the right beer. Black label.
Black label. Beers are always ice cold.
They are. Now listen, that sign is going to stop every car dead in their tracks. Ice cold beer, because it's like 40 degrees, you're dying.
Yeah.
Is that what started first, or was it the tent, the rest camps and the campsites first, and then the bar?
Yes, campsites first. So when we got here, there was nothing here. It was just raw bush. Started from scratch, carved everything out, and put in the solar power, put in the water.
Every campsite we go to is beautiful in its own special way, and like what you've done here is really amazing, because you've kept it rustic, but it's really well appointed and laid out.
So when I went out into the wilds, it was to get as far away from people as possible. So for us, it's very much about privacy, and there's a strong Namibian influence, and from the bush camps that I'd been to there.
Yeah.
So, but I also I don't mind roughing it up, but it's nice to have a flush toilet
And a nice shower.
with a little bit of a concern for our impact on the area. So we use the invasive wood for the donkey boilers and stuff like that.
This little space you've got set up here, it does feel like an oasis. It's so cool. Obviously COVID's nailed us all.
Yeah.
But the bit that I find quite interesting is I think South Africans are at that point now where they want to, oh there we go, I'll go with that then, where South Africans want to live local, support local, and that's kind of the whole idea behind our trip, is that people don't even know about a place like this. Watch her miss, you better get this.
Probably will. Under pressure.
She's a hustler.
That's a miss.
I was going to say, you know the bloody table.
You don't need to have fancy 4x4s and stuff to get out here. The roads are good, and it's not far. You can from here. It's just over 3.5 hours from Cape Town.
On the Shelf, it's such a beautiful name. Joy of the Karoo.
Yes.
That is all your stuff, your product.
Yes.
Was that something that you loved doing beforehand, or did you discover that night you had the time?
I literally, it started, I was given a crate of apricots. And I mean, what on earth do you do with a whole crate of apricots? So I figured, okay, well, let me try making jam. And that's what I did, and it worked out really well. And I thought, oh, this is quite cool. So, and then I just started making other things, and everything that I do here is locally sourced. So it's either from this farm or from the region or from the area, because that's very much what we're about, is giving back somehow, and for this community.
And we've heard that it's really good, and that's not just from you.
I've got fans in the States, and we've got fans from up country. So yeah, people they love it.
I'm going to sing this one.
I'm going to try. Yes, hallelujah.
Okay, now you just show. Yeah, you're super self-reliant on everything. You can't just shoot off to the shops. That's the reality for you?
Yes, so it's not a case of just nipping down to Woolies or whatever. We don't have such a thing out here. So when you do a supply run, you plan well ahead of time, and you have all your things that you got to do. You let your neighbors know you're going to town, and you get all their stuff for them, but they do the same for you. So that's how it works out here, and
It can be tough.
It can be very tough. It's hard out here. There's no picking up the phone and calling a plumber. If something breaks, you do it yourself. So it's a lot of hard work.
So is there a point in the day that Joy finds herself sitting here and thinking, yes, what did I do? I missed that previous life living in the city?
No, most of the time not. About the only time is when it's been a long day and it's a late night and think, oh yeah, I could just pick up the phone and phone Mr. Delivery. But yeah, that's not out here, so it's just a minor inconvenience. It's good to be here.
I tell you, it is good to be here. So thank you for sharing a bit of your joy in the Karoo with us. It's been incredible.
And that's what it's here for. It's to share with people and to let them know that there is something out here that most people don't even know exists. So it's a good place.
Now I'm going to help her with her pool, because her pool is crap.
Well, sorry about that.
I'm not a good loser. You whipped my ass.
My pool isn't that crap.
No, your pool's actually very good. And Francois, thank you. What
Condolences.
Is this what losers
You know
do?
tequila,
Yes, a
she
nice
makes you
shot of
happy.
tequila.
Hang on, there's
You
only,
know
there's only one way to do
tequila,
it.
she makes you sad. Hands free, and there you
Hands
go,
free,
lad.
Oh my goodness. Well, my goodness.
I didn't tell you I lost on purpose. Because I freaking love tequila. That was all a ploy.
Ah.
Well done. Machine. Come on, who's hungry? Come on. Porcupine Rest Camp is stunning, but geez, it's dusty. And my little white dogs have gone to brown dogs. So we're going to give them a little cool down, a little wash, and load them in the car for the next trip. Wait, come here. Hey! We need some soap. We need to soak everything up. Oh. Hey, you know what the sad thing is? Anybody with dogs will know. After you've given your dogs a wash, they love to tear around like mad things. Especially this one, he looks for a towel and rubs himself in it. So I'm going to have to do this thing very carefully. One at a time, dry them, and then put them in the car. Otherwise, this is going to be a wasted exercise. I suppose that's the thing I like the least about overlanding and camping. I mean, listen, you can go to campsites like we had at Vic Bay where there's not dust. There's like lovely lawns and all that type of stuff. But that kind of also feels a little bit like being at home. And just like that, we said our goodbyes to Joy and Francois and the Porcupine Rest Camp. New adventures were just down the road. Boy, am I relieved that we are doing a bit of a drive today. 41 degrees predicted temperature, and we are chilling in the D-Max. That's one thing that is impressive. The aircon is a demon. And little things like this. Check this, put your water bottle, there's a nice little holder for it right at the aircon vent, so you tilt that down and your drink stays chilled all day. It's fantastic. So we're leaving Seweweekspoort, and destination is Sutherland. I've never stayed there, so I'm really keen to check that out. And the routing takes us through Lanesburg, which obviously we all remember, I do, growing up from the national disaster with that mudslide, and also through Matjiesfontein. So I definitely want to check that out. Really happy that I made the detour to Matjiesfontein. It's such an amazing little town, and you can call it a town, that came to existence because of a railway line running through it. If you're going back, I think it was 1st of Feb 1878 that the town was founded, or the railway station was opened. And that was because of the Cape Prime Minister at the time, John Maltino, that wanted a line that would link the port of Cape Town to the diamond fields up in Kimberley. And rumour has that he sat with his engineers and literally put down a map of South Africa, took out a pen and a ruler, drew a straight line and said to them, your problem, make it happen. And they did. And yeah, the town of Matjiesfontein has been around ever since. It's a great place. You have to put it on your list. The Lord Milner Hotel, unbelievable. Steeped in history, famous guests, ghost stories, and a charismatic tour guide.
Follow me. And this is the royal sofa. Well used, diergevry. And this is the first friendly cricket match between South Africa and England played in Matjiesfontein there at the cup. George Loman was the greatest this time.
Okay.
He was a spinner. So Logan and George Loman decided, okay, we bring the first friendly cricket match between England and South Africa here.
In Matjiesfontein.
In Matjiesfontein. The cricket pitch is still there.
Unbelievable, the history of this place, huh?
Yeah. I work now, okay?
No, tell me, how long have you been here?
For 35 years. My mom worked 40 years. I work now tour guide, one tour porter, sweeper, and every night sing on the park.
Amazing.
Oh, right path.
Great museum for the train line. Just so much character in this little town as well. Put it on your radar. You have to come to Matjiesfontein. When we were in the hell,
Yeah.
and Peter said to us, if we're heading up to Sutherland, we've got to come and see you, because there's history here.
Yeah, it is. It is.
And what was this originally?
This was the original toll house, where the people used to pay toll money to pass up and
In
down
the
pass.
wagons and those type of...
Yeah.
This is the toll house, but there was the stables.
Yes, there was always 8 horses that were stationed here. Because every second week the postal coach came from Matjiesfontein, and they changed the horses here to pull the weight with the fresh legs up the mountain.
Now what Peter was telling me, didn't someone steal you an old Coca-Cola sign?
That one there.
Yes, and a guy from Joburg, he found it, he bought it and sent it back to you.
That's it. That's it.
I love how these stories link. Eh? So that's a story we heard from Peter down that side.
You won't believe it that button was stolen here. So I went to the girl in town, Esther Obermeyer.
Okay.
She's got a second-hand shop there in town. And she put it on the Facebook and circulated between the second-hand dealers.
Yeah.
And this bloke was lying in his bed and he was looking at the Facebook page and he thought to himself, but this was the button he bought.
Yeah.
And he found Esther, because they know each other.
Yeah.
And he said to Esther, but I bought this button is at my home in Pretoria, but I'll only be back at the end of the month. And when he got back, he posted it to us.
Unbelievable.
It's unbelievable, I can't believe it. I had tears in my eyes the day that Esther bought it here. But that was unreal, I was still getting... Yes.
It's so
I
cool.
still can't believe that I got it back.
So
yeah.
flippin' cool, eh? Like in the old days, talk about the toll. So that we're talking ox wagons or anybody that passed through here.
Everybody that passes here. There was only a few people that had cars. I mean, 1907. I mean,
Is that when it stopped?
that's when they took the book away in 1908. And after that, you had to buy those plates,
And they would allow you access.
and then you were allowed to pass up and down. Yes, yeah.
Now you've got the original book. How did you get hold of that?
The original book was the attorney in town, Mr. Fick, I believe. He passed away, and the station commander of the police knew that he had no safe, and all those documentation which he had to keep in a safe was in the ceiling. And when he passed away, his daughter demolished the place, and Uncle Eddie Marais, he said to her, before you demolish this place, I want to empty the roof, take everything out.
Yeah.
And this book was amongst those rubbish, whatever.
I mean, imagine the value of that, because that would have had every person that passed through
That's
there
right,
and what
I'm
they
going to show you
paid.
now. It's in Nederlands geschreven. This is the price structure. Everything that passes here had a price attached to it. If you come through with a cup car that had 2 wheels, there was a price. If there was one horse in front, there was a price. If there was 2 horses in front, they had a different price. There was a roof on it, it's a different price.
But that's exactly like now, your 18-wheeler trucks, your
Exactly
weight
the
and how
same.
many...
Yeah, that's it. If you had loose
Unbelievable, eh?
cattle or sheep or horses with you, for per head you paid extra as well.
And is there a record of who would have been passing through? Who was
Yes,
paying the toll?
everybody that passed here, their name was written in
Wow.
here, what they drove with, how many how many cattle or horses was pulling them. Every end of the month, the bloke from government came and he took £1 off him, which was his earnings for collecting the money.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. That's
Yeah.
preserving stories. You know,
Yes,
that's
that's
why
right.
this for me is gold.
This is the last page that was used for the raising of the toll money, and that's why it's been cut off here, the 31st of December 1907. But the auditors came in 1908, and they audited the book, and the book was taken away from here in 1908.
So cool. And do you get a lot of foreigners coming through? Or is it mainly
A
South
lot of
Africans?
foreigners,
And
more than the locals.
But are you seeing locals coming now? Because I mean that's part of our story. We
That's
want
right,
to
yeah.
encourage South Africans to come and look at these amazing places.
People that used to go overseas, they decided to tour South Africa now.
Yeah.
Now they discover what all these years they've missed.
That is maybe like a blessing in disguise. I know COVID's been tough,
Definitely,
but it's
yeah.
forced people to actually look at their own country, live local, love
true.
local, support
Yeah,
local,
that's
which
true.
is cool.
Yeah.
Cheers. It's actually very lucky.
Prost.
Good man. So I've been told that it's pretty cold in Sutherland, so Tjol sorted me out. One size fits all, eh?
Yeah.
Never.
Depending the weather.
I'm hung like a horsefly. From Tjol's hut, it was a short but memorable run to Sutherland as Susie clocked up her 20,000th kilometre. We had just enough time for a quick supper before staring at the stars. You really do take the simple things for granted, like a clean kitchen, a bath, something that is dust-free. We've been camping for 3 days in a row, which I must admit has been awesome. But coming to Sutherland, it is just so good to soak in a bath and to cook in a clean kitchen. I mean, we've been using, I know they've got like Kalahari salt, but I can tell you my main spice I've been enjoying with all the food I've been cooking has been dust. Brilliant. I really recommend you use some of it. Planning this 30-day adventure, there were places that were on my list of I have to go there because I've always wanted to go there, and Sutherland was one of them because of this, to be able to see the stars. Jörg, what you've taken us through now has been absolutely amazing. Why Sutherland? What makes this area so good for stargazing?
Look, we're very fortunate because we are high above sea level and we've got no factories, in other words, very little light pollution. But I reckon the most important thing is that over a period of a year, we enjoy more than 80% cloudless nights.
Okay.
So there will be places in South Africa that you will see it well, in the Fitzroy Canyon or in the Drakensberg, but the consistency, this is what you get here and makes it ideal.
How long have you been doing this?
A whole 15 years, every night.
Every night?
Every night. This is a fairy tale, you know. We are blessed because we've got people every night. Some nights 2, other nights 20, you know, so it's amazing.
It's quite emotional in a way.
Yeah, it is.
It makes you realize
how insignificant we
100%.
Yeah.
And like the things you're showing us tonight might not exist
Precisely.
anymore.
Yeah. It's all history, and like I told you, the further you look into history, you're actually looking into the future. But for me personally, you say it makes you think is that when people like you come here, I don't know you, you're just a name for me, and you say you enjoyed it. That's my feel for tomorrow, and it makes my job worthwhile.
Was this always something that you were interested in
Never,
when you were growing up? So
never.
how did this happen?
No, we stayed many years in Sutherland, and my wife's father was the town clerk here in the 50s, and we met when we were 19 years old. So we got a long relationship with Sutherland, and then when we came here, when they started building the Salt Telescope, we thought that we are going to retire, but it's wrong. We started working, and by accident, I like gadgets. I fly model airplanes, you know. I thought I want a telescope, and now it's a full-time work. It's not a hobby anymore. It's every night, the whole year round.
Talk to me quickly just on setup costs though, because I mean you've got what, 6 or 7?
I've got 7 of them. We're talking about 120,000 with all the gadgets and extra lenses and so on.
And you've got pre-programmed, I saw you
It's
just
all
type
pre-programmed,
in. So it comes with how many stars loaded into that?
40,000 things that you can see. So it will take two or more lifetimes, you know.
And that's also nothing compared to what is out there.
Nothing.
Here's the tricky question. It's one you don't have to answer.
Mm-hmm.
Spending every night doing this and staring out there and wondering, what is your feeling? Do you think it is just us out there?
No, never. If you look at it the way I do it every night, you got to think that how can you and me be so special that it's only us? So there's got to be something. Might not look the same, nose, ear, whatever, but there's got to be, definitely. I'm very positive about that. They're looking at us too, you just don't know about it.
bizarre sleep last night, dreaming about stars, and woke up this morning wondering about the significance of life. That is what Sutherland and stargazing does, I guess, but there's so much more to this town than just looking up at the heavens. A lot of history, Anglo-Boer in particular. This little church behind us, apparently the Khakis, the Brits, were holed up in here with their horses. They were using the church pews to make fire. Apparently inscriptions if you go up into the tower as well. There's also a rumor that if you stand in one particular angle, you'll see that the tower is actually skew because it was shot down. Whether that is true or not, I don't know, you'll have to ask the locals. But there's also an amazing Jewish cemetery that's here. So come to Sutherland, you have to. It was on my bucket list and it's totally worth it. But don't just come to look at the stars, also have a look at what's around in the town. We're wanting to go, we're going to go through Tankwa and then probably try and get to Lambert's Bay, Elands Bay for a surf, and then I want to head up to Wonderclip Bay and Port Nolloth.
Okay, yeah.
Any recommendations on route? Can we stay off the road? Can we ride on the coast?
What vehicle do you use?
I've got a D-Max 4x4.
Oh, okay, yes. We stay in Koekenhof.
Where is that?
That is if you go from Lambert's Bay north, and then you'll get a signpost saying Doring by Strandfontein.
I heard about Doring Bay.
Okay, so there you hit the coast again. Then you get to a small town called Lutzville. Okay, Lutzville you turn left for another 10 k's, you get to Koekenhof. So when you get there, you contact me. We quickly sit down with the computer. I'll show you all the routes, different routes you can take, because from there there's many options to get to Wonderclip Bay, but there's nice options and there's on-road options.
Okay. Next time on Just to See How Far It Is. The desolation is actually bloody overwhelming. It's unbelievable to think that people actually live here.